So now we're recording, we're ready to continue on, part 2 of tonight. All right, so we need a way to check results. So we'll call it that. We'll call it, create a function called check results. This will return a Boolean to let us know if we won or not. So what we need to do is find out which row is selected in each one of the columns. So it's going to be kind of similar logic to what we just did. Selection 1 is going to be pv slots dot selected row as the name of the property. For component will be 0, and then we got to repeat that for 1 and 2. So make sure to bump up the number, otherwise they're always going to win.
You know, I've never won, so maybe I'll just leave them all the same. Just zeros.
All right, so there's our 3 selections. That tells us which row. Now we need to check against our array that we created of chosen images to see if it's a match. So we can say let chosen image 0, or cherries, chosen image 0 equals chosen images. Cell 1 0. And then we do the same thing for the other 2 columns. Chosen image 1 and chosen image 2. Nope. And then selection 3, and then the columns are going to get bumped up. Everything has to change. All right, so chosen image 1 is from our chosen images array that we generated at the start of the program. First row, first column, then the second row, second column, third row, third column. So these guys, if they're all the same, then they win. So we can say, to kind of abbreviate this, if, I'm going to put a parenthesis here, chosen image 0 equals chosen image 1. And if that part's true, then if chosen image 1 equals chosen image 2, we have a winner. So return true. Otherwise, we just return false. Return ga equals. All right. Now, to verify that our calculation is right, what we can do is this. So we can, well, before we get to that, I guess, we can say, we can print out a debug statement to check to make sure that what we think we are selecting is correct with what we're seeing on the screen. Calculated, and that will be images CI0 images I1 and then finally images CI2 brackets in each case, CI2, closing brackets, closing parenthesis, quote, closing parenthesis. All right, so that'll print out the actual image name that was selected. Okay.
What's so funny? Why did that? Can I see
Oh,
it
sorry,
right now?
I'll go back down to that.
Yeah, stick around.
Oh, got it. No.
Still trying to figure it out myself.
It's missing
Valid
bracket
escape
somewhere.
sequence in literal.
It's got it right there. Got it.
You have to make sure you have all the closing parens.
It is good. You can go ahead. Yeah, here's good too. Okay. We're cool.
All right. I'll wait for you guys. You got it? You get it? Okay. All right. So now we can go ahead and code that in. So when our spinning stops, gosh, where is it? Select, okay, here's where. So if the timer counter is greater than 20, we stop the timer, and then we can. Timer counter equals 0. Then we can check and see if, we'll say let b win equals
Oh shoot.
check results. All right, so that's we won't. Nothing's going to happen at this point, but we'll find out. It should print out down here in our debug output area what the results were, and then all we're doing right now is verifying that those match what we're seeing on the screen.
Go until we get a win.
Yeah, you could.
Oh,
She won already.
on the third spin, cherries.
Oh, really?
The winner
Remind me
over
not
there.
to play cards with you. I still haven't won once yet.
I'm sorry, Adam. It has something to do with. I'm sure. I'm convinced it has something to do with the fact you're a Packer fan. But
I won twice, Mike, and I'm a Packer fan. Adam knows
So
that.
where do we look?
There is
to
that.
see if-
so down here in your output area should be that print statement. And so what you want to do is just check to make sure,
Cherries.
yeah, that matches up with what's actually on the screen. And then as long as it does, that means our logic is correct and it's
Whoa.
checking it correctly.
It's not a grape, it's a plum.
Cherries,
I figured
banana,
they
bar.
would show.
It's not a very
Spin.
it's not a very good plum image, so
What did you do?
What did I do? Apparently we don't like it.
What's
Whatever.
going on over there?
Whatever that
getting
is,
out of
that-
control now.
Whatever that constraint was, we don't like that constraint.
Whatever you're doing with your life, stop it.
Much more interesting.
No, don't. Just don't do weird stuff, Apple. Just don't do that.
So how do I get it to center? Because it's going way to the left.
What's going to the left?
My button is like on the farthest edge of the page to the left.
Your spin button?
You have a
Yes.
center leading.
Did you create the constraint to center?
When I did that, it went to the whole page all the way up and down about this big.
That was vertically then. right?
Yeah, you got to do the vertical constraint too.
Okay,
So you got to do the
then-
control drag down to the bottom and set a constraint to the trailing space.
So let's try
Set it
this.
to be like about 20 or so.
Vertical spacing and just set it horizontally. All right, well, let's see what happens here.
Yeah, because we have to set the, what did you set it to?
Yeah, what did you set your
We'll find out what happens.
280?
Look, I just said it.
It's still at the top.
Let's see what happens here. It says.
Should be the same.
It's
do
a
we get
big
rid of
oval
odds?
over the entire middle of the page.
You have to set your width and height constraints on it now.
Oh, that's awesome. So apparently 14 is not enough.
Good times with constraints. They're
I
just
hate constraints.
they're so friggin' awesome. Yeah, I hate Apple for doing it. I really do. It's like, I mean, I know what they're trying to do, but they just botched it.
How do I set this one to go down? Let's
All
just
right.
do-
It's all in the programs. You did something different.
I did it right.
Oh, are you cheating the system already?
I think she-
It's a winner every time.
I give up. I was stupid.
I won earlier, but I haven't won since.
So when you guys are
Can you
pretty
help?
much ready,
Yeah.
if you,
So
He
here,
says, yeah.
yeah. So here's this.
Okay, what is this? Take that
That
out.
one stuff. Okay, that's that.
Sure, just delete them all, start up.
So you want to hold this
Huh?
down.
like red.
Somewhere I did that last class and I
Center
can't remember
horizontally.
where, but
Yes, I had that one.
it's a background, it's a
For some
background
reason,
color
it
that I
doesn't seem
put
like
in.
See if
it's
it's
there.
14.
I think, you want it?
I was just wondering that.
I think if you can click on
Let's see.
I think you should just leave it the big giant oval.
To know.
Okay, I just want to show you that. Let's see this fun stuff down there.
Did you get it?
Oh no, now it worked. Nice, that's it.
I did mine good too.
I like it. I like it when you guys
yeah,
teach each other. That's the best way to work.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. By the end of the month,
I
we
would
have
use
this
one.
one.
Interesting.
I
It has like a
think
green
it had to
background.
do really with what you deleted, that long, you
That
had
other
like,
one?
you had like a vertical
Yeah, I don't know what the heck that
horizontal
was.
center vertically, so it was centering,
When I pulled
I don't
it
know,
up first, it was-
the stretching. Is it
Okay.
working? Is it working?
let's see.
Lemon with the yellow.
All right,
They're all
make-
yellow. That should count.
Making it fancy. All right.
Yeah,
So the next,
So,
we want to get onto this next part because it's the fun part. So what we're gonna do, what we'll do next is click on your artwork folder if you have it. Otherwise, just click on the main project folder. Right click and go new. Okay, hello mouse. Go new file, and we're going to go into. Hold on a second. I gotta find it in here.
I have no idea what happened to my phone.
What happened, Nate?
He's good.
Adam's picking on me.
Can we create
Oh.
a sticker catalog? I want a sticker.
Which one?
If you guys behave, we'll do that next time. I'm still looking for it. I think this is our guy. Sprite Kit particle file. That's the one we want. So if you can find that, Sprite Kit particle file, go next. We want confetti, which I'm not seeing in here.
Fireflies.
What do you guys do with confetti? You're kidding me. Wait, let me just, maybe it's a different kind of particle file.
Screen. There's the scene kit particle system. Yeah.
Scene Kit particle systems.
Yeah, confetti. It's in that one.
And the Scene Kit?
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. If you want confetti,
What if we wanted fire?
if you could create like a sparkler effect. You could do that. You could create like a sparkler effect.
Is that what fire is?
Fire, well, it depends on how you configure it. So we'll go over that in a little bit. Scene Kit particle system. Save this as confetti. Not sure if this is going to create what I want it to though, but we'll see.
And then create.
It's good to have good intentions.
It did a SCNP and a PNG.
Yeah, so that's a scene particle system something, and then the one that I'm actually interested in doesn't look like much. It's just this little confetti.png. That's the guy we're actually interested in, as we need to get that.
Is that a color?
Yeah, we are going to make that a color. We're going to do that programmatically.
Randomly colored.
Yep, we're going to randomly color it. All right, so particle systems. This is a little bit early in an iOS class to be covering particle systems, but that's okay because you guys are exceptional.
Let's just confuse them if we can.
All right, so up here at the top, we created this particle emitter. This guy is a CA emitter layer, and what that is it's a layer that rides on top of your user interface. Usually it's like above everything, so that when you create these particles, they appear over everything else. And it's part of the core animation library, and it actually emits whatever it is. Like if you create fire, you can emit fire, you can emit smoke, you can emit sparks, and then you can configure it to have certain like attributes like gravity, velocity, acceleration, range, all that kind of stuff, lifetime. So that's what we're going to do is we're going to create, first you have to create the layer, and then on top of the layer you place particle cells. So we're going to create the emitter layer first. We'll create a function called create particles with a capital P so that we observe Apple's rules of good naming convention. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we have this particle layer up here. This guy's kind of expensive in terms of resources, so we only want to create one of them, and we only want to create it one time. So down here, in our create particles, we're going to check and see if it's nil. Particle emitter equals nil. Then we're going to create it. And it's real simple, just CA emitter layer. You need an emitter layer before you can create any particles. Actually, that's all we need in the if statement. So then what we need to do is set the position of it. So that's going to be the start point where you're going to start blowing out these particles. And that is the emitter position. That's an actual point on your screen. And that's going to be a CG point object. And we will put that, okay, we need the X. Probably that guy there. X is going to be view dot center. It's the center of our view dot X. Y is going to be off the screen, so we're going to start up above the top of the screen by 96 pixels because of some weird math that happens when you start doing animations that multiples of 32 work out well. All right. Okay, so there it is up off the top of the screen. Next thing we're going to do is set the shape of it. And that is the emitter shape. Should be, unless I misspell it. Emitter shape. And that is going to be equal to a constant KC, oops, C A E, there it is. Emitter layer line, first one. So what that does is it sets the emitter shape to be horizontal. So this stuff is going to come from a horizontal. You can also have it be different shapes, but we want, so like if you're doing like smoke or fire, you can have it be like a square or like a, basically like a sheet, so it's just all over the place. Fireworks are good for that. We want a line. Particle emitter dot emitter size. This is so what this is actually the size of the range of it, more or less. Equals CG size. It's going to be the one we want is width. This guy, width and height floats. will be view dot frame dot size dot width. So it's the whole width of the screen. We're going to have these things come down. And then the height is just going to be 1. So this is going to start off just at the top. So we don't want it to just like come out so you have nothing but confetti covering the screen. You want it to just come out really small. What are you doing?
Not me.
Just slamming away.
Can you not hear back? There's like.
Oh yeah, I
Bam!
can hear Vector. Yeah, I think there's a hammer up here if you want it.
Somebody else started it first. I only picked up on
It's me. It types really loud. But I type at speed.
Might be kind of amusing to listen to the video just to hear that slamming in the background. All right, so that's all we can do here. Now we actually need to move. We need to do a separate method that actually generates the cells themselves. Because like I said, you have the layer. The layer is the thing that kind of like is the generator, but then the individual cells actually have their own life. So now we're going to make a new method called make emitter cell. This is going to create the individual cells, and hey, there's all our images again. Yay, that's fun. All right, so we're going to pass in a color to it. This is where we're going to get our colors from. UI color. And the output of this guy is going to be a CA emitter cell. We're going to make a bunch of these. Now, you might think that the cell is the individual thing like the confetti, but actually this will make a bunch of them at one time. A cell kind of sprouts out individual particles. Let cell equals CA emitter cell. Now here we set a whole bunch of properties on this guy. This is going to determine what it looks like, how it moves, what it acts like. So we say cell.birth rate. That tells you how many of them you make. So you can adjust these properties, and you can adjust them and make this look differently depending on what you want it to look like. I'm going to set this initially to 20. Cell.lifetime. Brent's going to be like, hey, the enter button doesn't work on the keyboard anymore. Equals 7. So what the lifetime relates to is how long this thing stays alive. So you can set that to a really low value, and the particles will actually disappear in front of your eyes, which in the case of confetti, that would be pretty magical confetti. We want it to at least last the lifetime that's on the screen. Cell.lifetime range equals 0. All right, so the lifetime range refers to the variation between lifetimes. So when you define a lifetime, that is the upper bound. It can vary. If we set the range to 0, that means every single time you create a confetti, it's going to have a lifetime of 7.
What did the birth rate mean again?
Which one? The birth rate? How many of them you pop off at a time? It's going to create 20 individual little confetti things at one time. Okay, then cell.color is going to be equal to that color we're passing in. Color, except this has to be a core graphics color. There's a property on the UI color called CG color that'll turn it into a core graphics color. Cell.velocity, how quickly it moves. I'm going to set this to around 200, which seems fast, but it actually isn't. Cell.velocity range. So this is the variation in how fast it falls. Some of them are, because what this will do is it'll give you like an air effect, like it doesn't fall at the same rate. These guys I had to borrow. So just so you know, I don't know how to set these, but one is emission longitude. And I'm not going to try to explain this because I don't fully understand it. Actually, Andrew might understand these more than I. A lot of these have to do with just the angle and stuff that it's moving at. The emission longitude refers to how, the angle that it's coming down at, and we're setting it equal to pi, which is just setting the angle of it because it's using radians to determine that. So I don't want to get too much into graphics, but just that seems to work pretty well. Emission range, and that is going to be like a cone shape, and that is CG float dot pi. Only this time it's divided by 4. So basically it's like 90 degrees. Cell dot spin, that makes it actually kind of drift. Cell dot spin range is equal to 0.5. And these are things I experimented with, so that you can change these parameters too and see how it looks. You might like what you come up with better. Cell scale speed equals negative 0.05. And then the next thing you need to do is say cell.contents, which actually sets the image into it, equals UIImage named, and we named it confetti.
Think we have enough cells?
I think so.
Jeez. I just came up with confetti PNG. That was interesting.
Yeah, actually, I need to do a .cg image on it too. All right, now that we have the cells, so those are the individual cells. Now we're ready to finish up this method, and then once this is finished, then we can actually call it. Weird going on with my text editor.
Back to create particles.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're creating these individual cells. We got the particle emitter, which is the layer. It's going to have 3 of these cells that's going to generate random confetti with 3 different colors. All right, so we can say let red equals our method make emitter cell, and we're passing in color.red. Oops. And then we can do the same thing with green and blue. And you can change these up if you want as well. Use different confetti colors. You can make more cells if you want. With a white background, this looked pretty good. And it's got something it doesn't like about
You
it.
might want to change this instead of that. I said just red. They all say let red, let red, let red.
Yeah, like,
Right. Well,
Mhm.
green.
Yep. Which won't even compile until I fix it.
It's not acknowledging my color.
Yeah, I think because I don't have UI in front of it.
Is that the
Oh,
Oh,
mine worked without the UI. That's weird.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really weird.
now I decided I like you.
There we go. Now there is a property on the CA emitter layer called emitter cells. And all that is an array of these cells. So we can just create an array and pass in these guys. And then we do view.layer add sublayer. And then add the particle emitter. And then that puts it on our view, and we should get confetti. Oh, okay.
You didn't add the little exclamation point, mine said to do that.
No, mine's not balking about it for some reason.
And mine made me add that too.
Yours
Little-
also doesn't show that it's a variable either.
What's that? Well, you mean down here?
In the particle emitter, yeah, right there.
Yeah, it's the my IntelliSense kind of took a dump on me.
It made us add an after particle emitter an exclamation point.
Yeah, there you go.
There
Yeah.
it is. Yours is just being slow.
Yeah, it's just slow. That's also why the IntelliSense died. There we go.
So should we run it?
We have to actually call it, but what we need to do is where we're checking for the win or not. Okay, so what we can do to make sure it works is we won't even check to see if we won or not. We'll just call it directly. Just call that guy straight up. All right, so now if you spin it, after it gets done spinning, it should call that.
You just want to see it. You don't want us to wait to probably win.
No, you can go ahead. There they are.
Working no matter what.
Yep, now it won't stop, so we have to put logic in there to stop it. Yeah, please stop now, enough. All right, so what we need to do, now that we know that it works, and that'll just keep on going on indefinitely like that, so we should probably stop it if when we're ready to, the thing that'll cause it to stop will be when we spin the button again. So in the button spin event, what we want to do is check to see if the particle emitter is not equal to null. And if it isn't, we're going to call particle emitter dot remove from super layer, which is the opposite of what we just did. We added it to the super layer. Now we're going to remove it from super layer. Something about it doesn't like. Oh, there, now it's good, I guess. Yep. Just really moving slow. All right, then the other thing we should probably do, we can give them the impression they won every single time, but we should.
I'm sorry.
Can't get that on.
Whoa.
Oh,
You just put in particle emitter question mark.
I do not have this action.
Okay.
Mine
Okay.
doesn't like no.
did you try to do a product clean and then do a build again and see if it goes away? Because mine actually generated an error at first too.
So,
I don't find it's been pressed. It's different.
That's the one.
Oh, yeah,
That's
okay,
the
mine
one
worked.
we use.
build failed. No, mine's
No, mine's still there.
Okay.
Oh, and it just disappeared. That's weird.
Yep.
It says use of unresolved identifier.
What's it saying is unresolved?
Did
No.
you mean kill or
No.
did you mean pull?
Is that what it says?
Kill.
Can we kill the particle?
Kill it till it's dead. Wow, that's awesome.
Give me 1 second.
If you do a product stop, that may help too, because that chews up a lot of system resources when it's running.
That might have stopped already.
Mine works.
Did doing a clean and build help?
No.
Yes.
No.
That didn't. Yours did? All right. So I'll have to go and look and see what's going on.
I got it.
Oh, you're in the button spin. No, that's your spin press, right?
Mhm.
I think you just need a question. No. backspace up. Go to the, just give me a little bullseye thing. It was, no, it's not.
Well, mine came back now though when I tried to build it.
Identified.
Yeah, mine came back now that I tried to rebuild it. Went away as soon as I tried to rebuild it.
It doesn't work. Carrying a null somewhere else down there. So null is like university.
If you
Nil, I'm sorry. Nil.
It should be nil.
N-I-L, yeah.
That works.
I'm sorry. I work with C# all day.
It's weird, yours is weird.
It is weird. It's really weird.
It-
Yours worked too, didn't it?
it won't work until you try to run it again. It'll break again.
So maybe if you try running.
It actually built this layer, started to try to build again, then it goes, allowed it to build again.
I'll go with it. Whatever. No, nil.
So now I can't get nil to work.
I got no to work.
That's fascinating. It's fine with null.
Now it says use of unresolved null.
Yeah, Apple. You know, I'm used to using null all the time, and so Apple has to be different, of course, and go with nil. Every other language is null. Apple, no, I'm going to use nil. All right, so
Birth rate, for Pete's sakes, is a call.
anyway, so we have that. So now we want to check and see. We can do this. We can say if check results. And put our particle creator inside that if statement so that you only get the particles, you only get the confetti if you actually won. One other thing I should probably have you guys do, because technically this move the picker is being called on a secondary thread.
So you erase the let B win?
Yeah, all I did was because that was just setting a variable equal to the result of the check results. So rather than have a separate variable, all I'm doing is say if check results, because that's returning a bool. So
Things are really slow.
Mine didn't like
Click off of it and give it a second.
seriously, it does take.
It's taking, like mine deleted, then it came back, and then it came back again. It's being really weird.
Okay,
Click off of it.
in terms of performance, this is not a good model we got here. We're creating these particles in a secondary thread. So what I'm going to do, one more thing to add on to the things that, all right, so I'm going to call dispatch q dot main dot async. And then I'm going to put this inside that. So what this does is it dispatches this call to create particles to the main thread, which is the user interface thread. And that way, and it does it asynchronously so that you're not forcing it to block on anything. And the whole idea, this is again a little more advanced than what we would normally cover. And something's not right because my IntelliSense went away.
It's telling me it needs self in front of the create particle.
Yep, that's because it's in a separate block. Okay. So dispatch queue is the queue of execution. So all the steps, like if you were to like get down into the assembly language, there's like a whole list of commands.
Use of local variables, check results before its declaration.
You might be missing it there. That was
Or
my
I
fault.
can't spell results. Don't know about that.
So what this is doing is it's telling the user interface, execute this on the main thread, but only do it when you're ready. So it's saying async. So by async, it's saying, all right, if you're not ready right now, that's okay. Finish doing what you're doing. And then when you are ready, execute this on the main thread so that it doesn't block. Because you can end up with when you're doing something like this and you're running this on a timer, you can actually end up with like what's called a thread lock. So this should prevent that from happening and make it more efficient. And it's also not going to show the particles unless you win.
Yeah, I'm finding that out.
No, I still have use of local variable check results before its declaration.
Oh, I won!
It should not matter because my checker of results is down here.
Yeah, I've got mine in the same order yours, and it doesn't matter.
You have the parentheses?
So will this only go for so long then?
Might be missing, yeah, you're missing some values.
Did we forget to put
I didn't do
time
anything,
limit?
just wrong. What the hell?
I'm sorry, Glenn, what was that?
Is the confetti gonna quit at some point? Did we?
Not until you hit the spin button again. Once you hit the spin button again, it clears it out.
My mom brackets.
Okay. So it'll go until you hit the spin button?
Yep.
Guessing I'm getting down here.
Right. Well, it's nil again, then. Or no?
So,
Yeah, I'm not winning at all. I get two of a kind a lot, but I don't.
see what that feels.
So a lot of things you could experiment with and play around with in here. You can play around with the number of spins. You could play around with the creation of the confetti.
Oh, winner!
First try.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not cheating the system?
No, I ain't cheating. I
Yay,
think
lemon!
you started to feel sorry for me.
Ah, I haven't won. I've tried like 30 times. I haven't won.
Oh, I just hit the one with the lemons and I hit the button actually too fast.
So you won and then you cleared it.
On fourth spin, and then I clicked it accidentally again because I was being impatient.
Sorry, you're a loser.
Nobody saw it, doesn't count.
I feel like that's your catchphrase. This time I tried to cheat the system, it was like, no.
And do we still want that calculated down on the bottom to show up?
You realize you can still spin individually, right?
Really?
Yeah, you can still, yeah, we haven't disabled it,
Yeah,
so.
you can still do that, you just can't win.
Oh, it doesn't win though.
Yeah, it doesn't win because it's not being done through the spin button. So nice try, but.
Darn it!
The calculated is only going to display when you're in the development environment.
Right.
It's like if you're running on the phone. In fact, I wonder if I can go ahead and deploy this to my phone. And try running it on the phone from here, see what happens.
So,
And
No.
It's your phone, isn't it? I don't know. Or the summer of a runner. I actually got out and ran outside on the trail today and all the leaves, a little bit of pollen. The leaves really make you take your feet up because otherwise they're like, I ran fast. I know. Oh, before? No.
yeah, I don't win on my phone either, but it is working.
I don't wear my phone either.
Actually, it looks pretty good on the phone. So the thing to try would be, another thing to do would be to try different simulator sizes. See how it looks like on a bigger or smaller.
I can see if I win before it even quits spinning.
Just like a second or
So
two.
you can just keep going. Kinda nice.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like it's a little bit of a tricky sleight of hand thing because, oh, I won. All right, 3 plums. Because of the fact that we're setting the timer interval to be 1/10 of a second, by the time it gets down into the code and runs through it,
I lied, I was one behind,
Yeah.
so it doesn't tell me beforehand, so.
all right. So we're running a little bit late.
How dare you?
Another thing we have to do, I know, bastard. Catchphrase.
Catch it.
Yep.
3 times it times the 7 in the greens.
Can't see that on the recording, so that's all right. Does anyone else besides Isaiah have an iPhone?
My wife does.
Okay.
But
Because what we can do, yeah, I can't really. I mean, I could show you the steps, but it'd be better if you actually had a device so you could go through the steps to deploy it.
if I brought it next week, would that help?
Yeah. And then we can go through. We can have people kind of watch what I'm doing, but also like
There it
you
is.
can watch and see what you're doing. And then we'll actually go
My
through
confetti went
deployment.
to mini size.
Did you change the?
It looks like it's just snowing.
Did you change to a whole bunch of them or something? The birth rate. So I mean that's how you can go ahead and you can remove your if statement and then change all your like settings on your particle generator and see what you come up
It
with.
just looks like it's snowing.
Come take a look at this.
Does it
It's
know
so
what,
cool.
you don't know what you changed?
I'm not quite sure I can figure this out. Alright.
It's actually added
Just snowing.
Oh, yeah, and it's like really fast.
Really fast snowing.
That's kind of cool.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's why I didn't notice when the lemons went off.
It looks,
That actually looks a little bit more like confetti.
yeah,
Yeah.
it looks cool, but
Right now we
a
look
little
at
bit smaller pieces, a little bit.
How did you
He
get
doesn't
I don't know. Let me look. Something in here is not typed the exact same as his.
Oh,
not
I
quite
think
sure
I know
what it is.
Give me a second. Let's see, is it all the way at the top?
Is it 7.0?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
negative
that's right.
point
That's
zero?
that's the same. Yeah, everything looks about the same.
Eyes missing.
It's missing something.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks the same thing here.
You did scale, not scale range or scale speed.
Oh.
So your
So you
scale,
shrunk it.
you shrunk them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's interesting.
Alright, we're gonna
Yeah,
I'm gonna
keep
try
that
that.
in there,
we
yeah.
are gonna actually definitely do that too next. Scaling it.
Not one since we added it. Alright, so
You can also try generating a different type of particle. You can create like you can use fire. Fire though is a totally different behavior. So if you do the fire, it'd be kind of weird. I don't know what it'd be like a shower of sparks. I think if you'd used fire. All right, so I'm gonna stop the recording now. The other thing we got to do, which we didn't do tonight, was create an icon for it. So if you want, you can play around and find a cool. I used a slot machine for the one I built at home.
Well, that's what